In this video, we're going to start discussing how to order real numbers. Now that we've discussed classifying them, now let's see if we can order them and arrange them. So one way to order real numbers is by putting them on a number line. So for example, if I want to place number 4 on the number line, that's a pretty easy example, right? I can just put the -4 right there. Placing 2.5. Well, 2.5 is going to be halfway between 2 and 3. When I get to one like -13/3, so one like that, the easiest way to put that on a number line is first figuring out what is it as a decimal. All right, so I'm going to type that one into the calculator. The easiest way to compare and arrange numbers is by having their decimal form. So here we're talking about -4.3 repeating. So -4.3 repeating is going to place it a little bit more negative than -4. Same thing with the square root of 5. So square root of 5, the easiest way to place it on the number line is let's get a decimal for that value. So square root of 5 is about 2.24. All right? So if I'm going to put that on the number line, 2.24 is going to be right there. So again, the hint that I'd like you to write down is decimals are easier to compare. So if I'm asking you to put them on a number line or make comparisons between them, again, the easiest way to do that is simply by finding a decimal first. So now I can also ask you to compare with the greater than or less than symbols. Okay, so greater than or less than symbols. So remember, it's going to open to the largest number, right? So the mouth of it is going to open towards a bigger number. So if I'm asking you to compare 2.5 or square root of 5, well, you can see on the number line, 2.5 is bigger because square root of 5 was only 2.24, and then 2.5 is obviously a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to have it open towards the bigger number, towards the square root of 5. If I'm asking you to compare -4 and -13/3, well, again, -13/3 is further to the left. It is smaller than the -4. So with the -4 being bigger, I'm going to open it that way. So one piece of advice here, okay, one hint, is if both values are negative, the one that's closer to 0 is actually the greater one, okay? Because remember, the more negative you get, the smaller you are getting. So ones like this can actually confuse some kids. So I want to pay careful attention to that. That when you're comparing two negative values, the more negative you are, the smaller you are, okay? So be very careful when aligning those. So let's look at our next example. Compare -square root of 6 and -26/5. Again, best way to make a comparison is with your calculator. So I'm going to take -square root of 26, or I'm sorry, -square root of 6. That's going to give you about -2.45. So this is -2.45, -26/5. Let's type that in. So -26/5 is going to be -5.2. So because the -5.2 is actually more negative than the other one, that's going to make it the smaller value. So here, the -square root of 6 is going to be the larger one. And let's compare 0.3 with 1/3. So 1/3, this one I'm hoping you know offhand, 1/3 is 0.3 repeating. So here, if this is 0.33333 and it keeps going and going and going, that is going to be slightly larger than the 0.3. All right, and that is actually all. So I'll put it back in case you need to finish writing any of those tips down. But once again, thank you for joining me. Once you're done filling this out, that means you are ready to move on to that associated worksheet.